Eric Cantor has wisened up, and he understands that. So he went on Morning Joe, and in the beginning of this appearance, he talked about, oh, it's Tim Geithner. We told you about that talking point in the last segment. It's Tim Geithner, and I'm so outraged. Why did he remove these caps on bonuses, right? So what's funny, of course, is that none of the Morning Joe crew, not Joe Scarborough, not Mika, Lawrence O'Donnell was there, Pat Buchanan was there, Willie Geist was there. None of them called him out on that because he's on the record saying that there should not be a cap on executive compensation when they did the first Tarp bailout. Okay, they somehow that magically got lost, and they let him slide, and Joe Scarborough's, all over him going, oh, yeah, that's so true. Oh, yeah, you go get him, absolutely. So then, finally, Lawrence O'Donnell's going to ask him some questions, and thank God he was there. He's going to ask him, hey, listen, are you going to vote with the House proposal then? Because right now there's a House proposal saying we're going to take away 90% of that back in taxes, and that's how we're going to recover the money. So obviously you're going to vote for it, right? It's a simple question. Let's see what Cantor does with it.
Congressman, today's the day you can do something about it. Have you and your Republican colleagues finally found a tax increase that you can love? Are you going to vote for the tax seizure bill that the House of Representatives is going to vote on today to seize those bonuses back?
Which, by the way, just for the record, sidebar here, Counselor, that will not be sustained by the Supreme Court.
I said that yesterday, but what I want to know, Congressman Cantor,
unconstitutional.
Well, Congressman Cantor, if you're opposed to these bonuses, have you finally found the tax increase that you like, specifically targeted for those bonuses? If not, how would you get the money back?
Listen, I am for whatever we can do right now to get that money back into the Treasury.
You're going to vote for it today. There's a vote today. You're going to vote for it today?
And, well, I'm going to, we've got two bills coming to the floor today. There's a sense of Congress which says that we ought to take a look at all of this. I mean, why are we here to begin with? Do you not know
how you're going to vote on Charlie Rangel's tax bill today?
It is terrible tax policy, but I'm telling you one thing. I want to get those bonus payments back in.
I think I heard a no. Was that a no?
I'm going to get those bonus payments back in because,
How are you going to do it? How are you going to get that money back?
Well, first of all, we put in, there was an announcement of a bill yesterday which directs Treasury Secretary Geithner to come out with how he's going to get it back in. I mean, how in the world?
Oh, so you're going to say, Tim, could you please get it back? I don't know how. Could you please do it?
I mean, we all know that he approved the second tranche of the Tarp money that went to pay these bonuses.
But you don't have an idea. What you're telling us today, we have no idea how to get the money back. We'd like to ask the Treasury Secretary to do it. We will not vote for Charlie Rangel's tax proposal to get the money back.
I'm not saying that. I think you're going to find a lot of support in the House on both sides of the aisle.
It's too early in the morning for you to know how you're going to vote today.
Lawrence, we know that you're a little revved up about St. Patrick's Day.
2 cups of coffee, Congressman Cantor, I apologize.
Congressman, we're sorry. He's from the West Coast. He's not used to being up this early. Go ahead.
True.
We will actually let you answer.
Right. Listen, I think you're going to find a lot of bipartisan support for the Rangel bill. Now, I mean, do you think this is good tax policy? No. Do you think it's good policy to have the government owning our banks and deciding on payments on executives? No. But the fact of the matter is the people of this country know it's their taxpayer dollars that have been put out there and are paying these bonuses. I mean, how crazy is that?
I just don't know how you're going to vote.
He's going to vote for it.
No, he's not saying that.
No,
Republican leadership is not.
He's saying
he's going to let colleagues vote.
He never said it. He never said which way he was going to vote. And look, there's a lot of parts of that clip that I love, but my favorite part was when Scarborough had to come in and throw the white towels. Okay, hey, no, now Lawrence, St. Patrick's Day, coffees, whatever, lay off the guy. How are we going to get it back on the show? This is the same problem that Jon Stewart talked about, access. Okay? Now, you don't want to be too tough on the guy, then he's going to get pissed and not come back on the show, right? And look, I deal with it. Everybody deals with it. Because if you're going to get guests, you have to be somewhat nice to them, right? Now, I think, who knows, maybe I'm too nice to them. But I think we try our best here to do it. But it was funny, that moment there where he was like, oh, no, come on now. You caught him. Easy. You're kicking his ass. And O'Donnell was. He said, you don't know how you're going to vote. The vote is today. Which way are you going to vote? And he didn't have an answer. You know why? None of the Republicans had an answer. Later in the day, the bill actually came up. And reporters would go and ask Republicans. And they say, in fact, here, Mike Simpson of Idaho said he's going to vote no on the bill. And the reporter said, are you sure? He said, well, no, That's what I'm thinking so far. And some people went to go vote yes, and then went to go vote no, and then they changed their mind and voted yes. Okay? Now why? What's happening here? The thing is, they don't want to get the bonuses back. They don't want it. They don't believe it. Did you hear what Eric Cantor said in the middle of there? He said, now it's not good policy for the government to be dictating pay to the companies. In other words, let them pay whatever they want. But it's bad politics. He knows those poll numbers, 76% of Americans saying, get that money back, right? So he's torn. He's like, if I actually vote like a Republican, I'm going to get my ass kicked. So I got to do something here. And in the end, 85 Republicans voted with the Democrats to say, yes, we're going to tax that money and get it back. And some of them switched their votes midday, as I explained. And Eric Cantor, in the end, he voted yes with the Democrats. So politics did win out. Okay, so, and I love what Lawrence O'Donnell did there. And the other thing that I liked is he said, look, you have a plan? You were saying that you're depending on Geithner for the plan, and you're blaming everybody for not having a plan on how to get it back, and you're thinking of voting no on this version of the plan? What's your plan? Doesn't have one. Classic Republican.